Hi friends, Cathy Madeo here, back with another class, this one all about standing splits. If you are interested in increasing flexibility, want to up-level your splits practice, this video is for you. I want to take just a moment to chat about why this pose is so hard. The lifted leg, the one that's in the air, has nothing to press into. So it requires something that is called active flexibility, meaning the agonist muscle, the big muscle, actually your glute maximus, needs to be really strong in order to extend the leg up, right? And also your hip flexor, the opposite muscle, the antagonist muscle, needs to have quite a bit of flexibility in order to get the lifted leg nice and straight. So oftentimes, that's why when we say when muscles are tight, sometimes they're also weak, and sometimes we're referring to actually the opposite muscle. So a big key to this pose is increasing your flexibility in the hip flexor and increasing your strength in your glutes. Now, the other thing we don't usually think about with splits is forward fold. So when we forward fold, we're doing something that's anatomically called compression. We're bringing our torso to our thighs. And if our forward folds aren't deep, again, we're going to be inhibited here, because for a standing split, you're basically in a deep forward fold. Having a deep forward fold, if we think about these muscles, the antagonist, agonist muscle, would require that the whole back line of your body is open and flexible, and the front has strength enough to compress. So just things for you to think about as we navigate through this practice and as you start to unlock your own standing split. For this practice, it would be great if you had a set of blocks or something that can elevate you a bit off the floor, a strap or something like it, and some wall space. Let's get started. Make sure you have your strap and arms reach, lay on your back, and set up for some bridge lifts. Heels underneath your knees. On an inhale, engage those glutes to lift the pelvis up. We'll take our arms up over our head as well, and then set everything down. And we'll do that. Just keep moving, so warming up and strengthening our glutes to help lift the leg in our standing splits. Keep it going. Every time you lift the pelvis, think of engaging the glutes. And again, we'll keep the arms down, lift to the hips again. Feel the gluteus maximus engage, some of the most powerful muscles in your body here. And we will take the right leg, lift it up, straighten the leg, or keep it bent if you're feeling tight, and we'll just dip down and up, down, up, up. 3, 2, 1. Keep the hips up, and we'll switch. So left leg up. Don't worry if it's straight just yet. We'll get it there. 3, 2, 1. Let's set it down. Hug your right knee into your chest. You can straighten your left leg, flatten your low back here. Grab the strap, bend your left leg. So you're just like this. You'll place the strap around the sole of the foot. If you don't have a strap, you'll clasp your hands behind your right leg. We're going to pump the right leg in between bent and straight here. I'll do this a few times. And now we'll work to straighten the leg, and yours might be lower than mine. That's all good. Just wherever you can get a straight leg. Engage your right quadricep, and as you do that, we'll straighten the left leg. Breathe here. You could actively push your foot into the strap, strap into the foot. Now, if you can do this without using the strap, right? You don't need the strap. Breathe, or maybe your hands are here. All good. Remember, your leg might look like this. That's all good too. Take your left hand, let it stabilize your left leg. So hand onto the top of the thigh. Bring your right leg all the way to the right. Extend through the knee joint. Reach out through your right heel. We'll keep the foot flexed here to stretch the Achilles heel and calf as well. Inhale, reach the leg up, hold. So this is that active flexibility. We're not using our hands. Point your foot and then stretch your leg all the way down. And we'll switch sides. Pull your left knee into your chest, flatten your low back. Take your strap, if you're using it, around the sole of the left foot. And we'll take these leg pumps here. We'll do 2 more. And now straighten your left leg as you straighten your right leg. Breathing here. So again, wherever your leg is just perfect. Just making sure it's straight here in this position. Grab whatever you can, whether that's your strap or your foot. Keep both thighs kind of rotating inward. Right thigh bone presses down as well. And we'll take our left leg all the way to the left. Now, don't let the right hip come off the mat. We want to open our hips here. So keep the right hip. I'm actually taking my right hand to my right hip and grounding it down. Inhale, come up, release, but keep the leg up and work to really straighten the leg. Point your foot. Don't worry about how high the leg is. Maybe you can go even closer to your chest, and we'll stretch that leg out. Good. Just bend your knees, roll over, and meet me in downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal your feet here a little bit, although your legs hopefully are feeling nice and open already. We'll sweep our right leg up, and let's stay here for a moment. So if you think about this, we've got a split, and we've got this need for active flexibility in the lifted leg. I see a lot of people with bent legs here. And so I want you to straighten your leg, even if that lowers it a lot, and maybe it looks like this. And that's all good. Keep breathing. Think of reaching your right heel up to the ceiling, and I want you to bring your mind's eye to your right glute muscle and engage it. Keep straightening through your right knee joint. And on your exhale, we'll place the right foot. Drop your back knee. You can pad it with a blanket if it bothers you. And we're coming into our low lunge. Reach your arms up. Continue to move your pelvis forward, so we're stretching here through the groin and the inner thighs, as well as the hip flexor, the psoas. And you can even engage your left glute maximus here. That's going to send signals for the psoas to stretch. On your exhale, we'll fly our hands back and hold without hands for a moment in a runner's stretch. Keep your right foot flexed, holding. Stay kind of upright through the torso. Place your hands down. They can be on 2 blocks if they don't reach the floor. And drag your right heel back. Breathing. For 5, 4, keep dragging your heel back. This is a PNF technique to help increase the stretch, and we will fold. It actually sends signals to a tendon to tell the muscles that it's safe to relax. It's almost like we're tricking the muscles. We'll be playing with that a couple times in this class. Let's do that one more time. So halfway lift, drag your right heel back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and fold. Deep breaths. Another breath. Inhale, bend your front leg, step it back, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts, and we're just refining our 3-legged downward facing dog. Draw the left inner thigh in towards the midline. Remember, lowering your leg if you need to in order to straighten it. And then think of reaching through the left heel through the strength of your left glute muscles. And exhale, we'll place the foot coming into our low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Sternum is lifting, pelvis forward. Engage your right glute maximus muscle there. Feel the front of the right thigh stretch. Exhale, fly your hands back, hold. Hands come down, stay upright, drag your left heel back. It's an isometric contraction you're creating in your left hamstring. And then we'll exhale and fold. And as you fold, just kind of release and soften here. The more we can calm the breath when we're trying to access flexibility, the better. So we can relax the target muscles. Inhale, halfway lift. Drag your left heel back again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and fold. Release that dragging sensation, that isometric contraction. Engage your left quadricep muscles, so that's the agonist muscle to our hamstrings. So when we engage the quadriceps, the hamstring stretch. We'll step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale again, split the legs, reach your right leg up. This time, step it to the outside of the right hand, and we'll drop the back knee down. So we're coming into lizard lunge. We'll stay up on our hands for a moment, and you can rock side to side. Just getting really into all the muscles that cross the hip. Now we'll have an option to lower onto our forearms, and if that, like your spine starts to compensate to do that, you can either stay up on your hands or you'll place your 2 blocks underneath your forearms. And I like to tell people what to look for to see if you might need a prop. A prop isn't a crutch. It's getting you in alignment so that you can release and unlock rather than doing all these compensations that's pulling you farther away from the pose. Imagine you're pulling your chest through. Your back leg might not look as low as mine. That's okay. Couple more breaths here. And we'll come up and we're just simply going to switch sides. So stepping it back to our down dog, 3-legged down dog, visualizing that split. Big step of your left foot forward, back knee comes down. And we're staying up on our hands to start and allowing our hips to kind of move side to side. Nice and easy. And when you're ready, or if you're coming down onto your forearms, make your way down. Think of your right thigh, front of the thigh, getting as close to the floor as you can, even if that's just a visualization in your mind. Couple more breaths. Step it back, downward facing dog. From here, we'll come into, you can do plank, chaturanga lower, and we'll come onto our bellies. From here, you'll work into Sphinx Pose, so a gentle back bend that is stretching your hip flexors again. Now, if you might need the strap here. We'll pivot our right forearm in a little bit, bend the left leg, so don't grab the foot yet, and then straighten it. So again, this active flexibility, we're using our hamstrings and our glute maximus here to try to pull the left heel to your glute. Now from here, reach around. If you can grab the top of the foot, do that. If not, use your strap. Take the time to set up your strap. It'll be worth it. And I'm taking my fingers and pivoting them forward. So notice that turns my elbow up, and then begin to turn your chest more forward. Heel is coming to your left glute, getting a quad stretch as well as a hip flexor. And we'll release and switch. So bend right leg, straighten, right, straighten. Do 2 more. And try to keep it close. Grab the top of the foot, adjust the fingers so they spin over the toes, and turn your chest. Bring your heel as close to the hip as you can. Deep breaths. It's okay to feel uncomfortable. You don't want pain signals, so that's like stabbing, burning, but discomfort, like this is not like comfortable, right? It's okay. Life isn't comfortable either. It doesn't mean it's bad. We release judgment and carry on. Another breath. And we'll release. Let's come back into our downward facing dog. Come up onto your tippy toes, walk the feet all the way up towards your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, send the weight to your toe mounds. Exhale, fold. So forward fold, head releases here. So remember that forward fold I talked about with the standing split. Grab opposite elbows here, feet are hips distance apart. So we're going to kind of take a more active ragdoll here. We're going to lift up and down. So we're swinging the torso towards our legs. Your legs might be bent. I'd rather your chest touching your thighs as you swing than being very far away. So if your legs need to be bent to do that, I want you to bend them. We'll go 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, half lift, step your left foot back. The heel pivots in just a little bit, so this is pyramid stance, and you'll exhale, fold. And as you exhale, tack your right hip back. You want your sacrum as level as possible. So we have a tendency to dip the right hip down. I want you to lift that hip up like you could balance something on your sacrum. Deep breaths. I like to kind of adjust my hands here, almost use them like a kickstand, really work the core compression, pull your belly in. Inhale, half lift, and we'll switch sides. So I am not a flexible person. I still rarely identify fold as a flexible person. I practice like this, and I really notice the changes in my body over time. It does take consistency, and I really strongly believe that knowledge is power. The more I learn, the deeper I go. I like to share my knowledge with you. Hopefully you're picking up some tidbits here. Compress belly towards the thigh. That's that forward fold action. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Soft bend in your knees as we inhale up to stand. So we'll use the wall now, and we'll do a wall split. Place your hands down and bring your left leg up. So I'm on my right tippy toes. My right heel is actually against the wall, and I'm going to curl my left leg up so that the top of my left foot is on the wall. Now your wall split might look like this, and that's perfect. That's just perfect. So what I want you to do here is actively press your left foot into the wall and push the floor away from you with your hands, and then just work towards straightening your bottom leg a little bit, and then breathe. Now, if you're able to start to press your pelvis back to the wall and straighten your bottom leg, you'll continue to kind of inch closer and closer to the wall, and keep rotating your lifted thigh in so that the knee is facing the wall. Breathe deep breaths. Actively push the top foot into the wall. Couple more breaths, and we'll release. And let's switch. So you can start on your toe mounds if that's useful. Curl your back leg under. If you can bring your left heel down, do that. And then you're inching your top leg up. Again, if your legs are bent doing this, that is fine. We have to start somewhere. Rotate that top leg in so that the front of the top thigh and the knees facing the wall. You can actively push the top foot into the wall a little bit and keep pressing. I'm pushing the floor away with my hands to get that compression a little bit and send my pelvis closer to the wall. Deep breaths. And to come out, walk the hands away, slide the leg back, and we'll come up. And I'll meet you back on the mat. Have your props here. We will start with our right leg forward in a low lunge, and we will quickly move our hips back, coming into a runner stretch. From here, place one of your blocks under your thigh and come out of your runner stretch a little bit. Now we'll keep our hip points facing forward. This other block you can use just for balance here. And we'll start at the high or lower setting. If you are more open, I'll start at the high and demo here. And I want you to press down into the block and also actively press into the top of your back foot. So we're getting P and F in both the front and the back leg. So pressing down. And when you press down, you might lift out of the pose a little bit, and that's okay. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you'll remove the block and just release wherever your body goes. So it's not a contest, just wherever your body goes is where it goes. It's all good. You're still a great person. And breathe, and you can have the blocks there for support. Doing your best to keep your shoulders stacked over your hips. So if you've been following me, like I've had spine surgery, I have limited mobility in my low back. So it's really hard for me to keep my shoulders over my hips and keep my hips super squared in a split. But I don't want that to stop you. So you keep working your shoulders over your hips. Okay, now we're going to back out a little bit, place the block. If you can go a setting lower, I want you to, and we'll do this again. Press down actively into the back foot as well. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we will release. And when we're releasing, we're really releasing. So you release to your edge and then you hold, and remember, it's okay if it's a little uncomfortable, and discerning between discomfort and pain is part of really getting to know your body. Deep breaths. Okay, we'll go one more round. So you want to, when you do PNF, you want to do 2 to 3 rounds. I'm going lowest setting. If you're super on the floor already, you can just press right into the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll release, again, releasing to where you're going to go. And then we'll start to move around a little bit. So I'm walking the hands to the insides of the legs, doing a little bit of rocking side to side. Now, if you're really upright, this isn't feeling good, I want you to just be where you are and see if you can breathe. And now, since we're doing standing splits, if you can start working a fold in your splits, that will be very useful here. So we're coming into a fold. What I like about folding and floor splits is you can really rotate that back thigh in and square the hips more easy. Deep breaths. Couple more breaths, stay with it. We'll inhale up and drag your right heel back. You can shake the hips out. We're going to switch sides. So left leg steps forward. We'll send the hips back, runner's stretch. Just using this to transition here, doing 3 rounds of PNF. Shoulders over hips, press down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. We're holding for about 20 seconds. Again, doing your best, right? So we have alignment, but then we have unique bodies, right? And bones and injuries and all kinds of stuff. So we do our best to have integrity with alignment, and what our body looks like at that point is different for everyone, okay? Okay, round 2. So you could go mid, press down, actively through the back foot, pressing thigh bone down. If you don't have blocks, I should have told you this a lot earlier, it works too if you just drag the front heel back again, the isometric contraction, and we'll release. So my left side is much more open than my right. You might have a side that's more open. It's normal. We tend to have dominant sides and then we favor them and they get more and more open. Deep breaths. Okay, last round. Here we go. Pressing down. Shoulders on top of hips. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we will release. And we're going to rock a little bit, side to side. Your pelvis might be up. It's all good. We'll see if we can forward fold over the front leg. So think of that compression. Rotate the back thigh in. Deep breaths. And we'll inhale up, slide the left heel back, shake it out a little bit. And we'll come through down dog. Just walk your feet forward into a forward fold. So we'll start to work our standing splits from here. Shift your weight to your right foot, and we're going to take some active leg swings. Try to keep the back thigh rotating inward. So you'll swing up and down. So kind of forceful, up and down, up and down. 3, 2, and 1. Take your right thumb into your right hip crease. This is called hip traction, and tack it back as you begin to fold. You can take your right hand now to your calf and point your left foot. Remember, compress torso towards your thighs. Release your head, so there's definitely a balancing component here, and get that lifted leg nice and straight. And release. Ooh, my glute muscle just cramped there, so I know I was working it. Okay, shift onto the left foot. We'll swing that right leg. Big swings. 2, 1. So left thumb into your hip crease. Tack it back. And then begin to fold. Bring your left hand to your ankle. Compress, compress. Release your head. Straighten that lifted leg. And we'll release down. Soft bend in your knees. Slowly roll up into mountain pose. Stand nice and tall. So we'll take one more go at this, and we'll do a little deeper variation that for some actually increases their ability to do standing split. But first, I want to show you a big game changer for me, which was starting to work oversplit. So an oversplit is taking an object, basically a prop, and going kind of beyond the floor, if you will. So feel free, we're going to do this to kind of see how deep we can get our standing split and maybe compare the two. So you would take your right heel to about the mid block or maybe a little bit towards the edge and come into your split. Now, if you're like splits, you guys are not friends yet, you don't want to do this. I want you to work regular splits. But even if your pelvis isn't on the ground, you'll still get something. And what you're getting is the force of gravity. When your pelvis isn't on the ground, it has somewhere to go, some more depth to get. And that is one of the benefits of working the oversplit. Oversplit will help your standing split because it will take away needing so much effort because your legs already have the ability to split apart. Hope that made sense. So breathe. I'm just kind of letting gravity weigh my pelvis down. Keep trying to turn those hip points forward. And when you're ready, you'll slide on out and we'll switch sides. Okay, so left leg forward. Inching the back leg back. Breathe. So I was never a dancer or gymnast. I was actually really inflexible. I was a tennis player when I was young. All my muscles so tight, right? So I get the feeling of frustration of being, feeling like you're not flexible and feeling like it takes so long to increase your flexibility. But it is possible. Okay, and I'm definitely testament to that. Little patience and just going and being consistent and varying up your flexibility techniques like we're doing here today will really help. Couple breaths. And we'll release. So if oversplits is interesting to you as you continue to condition your body, you can go up higher and higher. Okay, let's do our final standing split today. And this will add in a shoulder variation. So what you will do is, I'm going to start with my left leg so you can see it. So you will bring your left shoulder behind your left leg, and you're noticing I'm almost in like a squat to get there. So I want to almost like wrap my left leg over my shoulder. Now from here, I'm creating a nice little bind here. I've got my left hand on my ankle, and my right arm is my kickstand. So I tip my fingertips, that helps me balance. From here, I shift the weight to my left tippy toes, and you'll notice my right foot gets nice and light as I begin to lift it up. Now it feels like, what? That is not any deeper. But now as you push the leg, the left leg into the arm into the leg, it creates this deep kind of bind to help really extend the top leg. Whew. All right, so we'll come out of that. I'll show my second side now, and this side is not as deep, so you'll see what that looks like as well. I think that's also useful. It's never fun seeing people just like crazy deep, and you're like, but I don't know what the other not so deep looks like. Okay, so I set up the right leg over the shoulder. I shift the weight, and then I begin to lift my left leg and straighten my right leg into my shoulder. Compression, release your head. There's a slight opening of the hip of the lifted leg once you start to work this deep. And we'll release. I hope you're feeling nice and open, or at the very least have some tips and tools to continue on your splits journey. Thanks for joining me. If you liked this video, you liked the information in it, I'd love for you to give me a like, let me know in the comments, click subscribe if you haven't already, and I have a free ebook for you called Activate Your Flexibility, which is based off of my online series. I've helped hundreds of people all over the world increase their flexibility. So check out that free ebook for you in the description below. Namaste.